Hi everybody, today we're in beautiful Pasadena, California, and we're going to check out some movie locations. So Pasadena is a very old city by California standards. A lot of the houses here are over 100 years old. Movies and productions use this location for filming, for time period pieces, and also a lot of the streets and the houses here, they can look like you might be on the East Coast or Midwest somewhere. So this house here is called the Blacker House behind me. It was used in the movie Back to the Future for interior shots of Doc Brown's residence. Exterior shots of Doc Brown's residence were actually filmed at another house in Pasadena called the Gamble House. It's about 2.5 miles from here. But this is the Blacker House, which was used for Doc Brown residence's interior shots. It's located here at the corner of Hillcrest and Wentworth. This is what the neighborhood here looks like. And there's the Blacker House. We're not going to be going in because it's a private residence. So apparently this was built in 1907. So 3 blocks away from the Blacker House is this gem behind me, which is the house from the movie Father of the Bride from 1991. There it is. So in the movie they lived in the town of San Marino, California, which is actually right next to Pasadena. But the house they used for shooting is this one here, which is on South El Molino Avenue in Pasadena. Steve Martin, Father of the Bride. This was the house. And apparently on the next block on Arden is Don Draper's house from the TV show Mad Men. So it's right on the next block there, and we're going to check it out. So I think that's Don Draper's house right there in the corner of Arden and South El Molino. So it's not even half a block away from Father of the Bride house. Let's wait for the traffic to clear before we go across. So that's from the TV show Mad Men. I think it was supposed to be 1960s New York. But it was actually here in Pasadena, California. And like I said before, it's kind of hard to tell that you're in California from these houses in Pasadena itself. If, like this street here doesn't even have palm trees, so I think it can definitely double as an East Coast suburban city somewhere. And I believe that's why they use it for film shoots, and also the time period, of course. This can definitely look like an old house, because I think it is. There it is, 675 Arden. That was Don Draper's house. In Mad Men. Right down the street from Father of the Bride. You can see the Father of the Bride house right there. Hi everybody, unfortunately this sound didn't come out well in this scene, so I decided to overdub it. We're now in South Pasadena, which is a city right next to Pasadena. We're on Bushnell Avenue. We'll visit 3 filming locations from Back to the Future. We'll go see George McFly's childhood home from 1955. We'll go see Biff's house and Lorraine's house from Back to the Future. Lorraine's house from Back to the Future was also Howard's house in the movie Teen Wolf. And then we're going to walk over and see Pamela's house from the movie Teen Wolf, which is about 1.5 blocks away from here. So now here we're in front of George McFly's 1955 Hill Valley home. It looks pretty much the same to me now as it did in the movie Back to the Future. I remember the scene where Marty walked in there with a Walkman pretending to be an alien from outer space. And we're going to walk down the street here and visit Lorraine's house, which is located on the same block. And we'll take a look at the tree that George McFly was on with the binoculars while he was being a peeping Tom. And here we are at Lorraine's house, and here's a tree that's across the street that George McFly was on with the binoculars looking in. And of course this was also the filming location for Howard's house in the movie Teen Wolf as well. Let's take a closer look at Lorraine's house from Back to the Future, as well as Howard's house from the movie Teen Wolf of the same year. And then we're going to go across the street and take a look at the tree that George McFly was on. And that's a tree branch he was on right there. I noticed that it looks like the people put in a little walkway. I wonder if they got tired of people walking on their plants while taking a look at the tree here. So George McFly was looking at Lorraine there in the 2nd story window from this tree branch up here when he started to lose grip and he fell down and would have gotten hit by a car just like that. And of course Marty ran up and pushed him out of the way, and Marty ended up to be the victim of the car crash when Lorraine took him in to help him out. And here under the tree somebody wrote on the concrete, it looked like Back to the Future film 1985. It's fading and a little bit hard to make out after 38 years. But you can definitely see the Back to the Future film 1985. I'm not sure if it was originally saying filming or was filmed here in 1985. But you can still see the Back to the Future 1985. So Biff's house and Back to the Future 2 is right here on the same block as Lorraine's house in 1955. And then here's Biff's house right behind me. It's got the ramp. There's Biff's house. Back to the Future 2. Not quite as fancy. There's the driveway. Biff and his grandma. So about a block and a half away from Howard's house is Pamela's house from the movie Teen Wolf. Right here on Oak Street, 1980 Oak Street, South Pasadena. So next is the Michael Myers house from the movie Halloween. It's here, 1000 Mission Street in South Pasadena. Hi guys, so I had to overdub this part also because of sound issues. But now we're in front of the Gamble House in Pasadena, which was in the movie Back to the Future. The exterior shots of Doc Brown's residence as well as the garage for the DeLorean were filmed here. You can see in the movie Marty McFly running up this brick driveway, and he runs up these steps here and knocks on Doc Brown's door when he goes back to 1955 and needs to find the Doc to fix the problem so he can go back to the future. And Doc Brown is doing an experiment, so he just tells him to get in. He doesn't care who he is or where he's from. So now this is the Gamble House, and it is now a museum. And we got here on a Saturday afternoon after it closed. It closes, I believe, at 1:30 on Saturdays. So I decided to walk around and see what the dog has outside of his house. And he's got a nice little patio with little miniature palm trees. And that right there is the garage, or what was the garage in the movie. The DeLorean was in there. And now it's a gift shop, so we're going to go in there after this and check it out. They have a lot of Back to the Future merch. So we'll go in there after checking out the patio and take a look. And looks like there was a gathering there. People having a lunch. And looks like Doc Brown had a pretty nice backyard with a lot of land in the back, and it's a very nice house. Doc Brown was living it up. Nice crib, Doc. So now we're walking down the driveway that Marty was running up in the movie, and we're going to go towards the garage that the DeLorean was located in. Here's where Marty was running up. So now it's a bookstore or a gift store, and they have a lot of Back to the Future merch, so we're going to take a quick look. It was 5 minutes before the store was closing, so I wanted to take a quick look before taking off. So here we are looking at the Back to the Future merch. We had some interesting and funny things, t-shirts, little figurines. The DeLorean shop manual was pretty funny. Of course, they had the license plate from the movie. There's the DeLorean shop manual. They had the cookbook. And of course, they had the sports almanac. So the gift shop was closing, so I decided to take off. And I went to my next location, which is from the movie La La Land. And finally, we're at the bridge from the movie La La Land. When Mia and Sebastian decide to take a stroll in the evening, this is where they go. This is the Colorado Street Bridge in Pasadena. I've even heard of it being referred to as the La La Land Bridge because of the movie. And unfortunately, it's also been called the Pasadena Suicide Bridge because there's been a number of suicides that have occurred here throughout history. And I think that is why they put in the chain link fences here all around. The chain link fence was not in the movie, so the production crews must have taken it off. I guess it doesn't work well for a romantic movie, so they took it off. And they were here during evening hours, and the street lights were coming on. And we're here during the day, but this was the location they were in. Well, thank you for watching one of my videos. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, if I can ask you to hit that like button, that helps me out with the viewership. Thank you again. City of stars, are you shining just for me?